Welcome to Aussie English class. G'day mates and welcome back to Aussie English class. I'm your host and I'm stoked to have you here. If you work in Australia or you're hoping to one day, then this episode is absolutely essential listening. Seriously, you'll want to save this one. Today we are diving deep into Australian workplace slang that people use every single day. This isn't the stuff you learn from a textbook and it's not stuffy corporate jargon either. This is the real, authentic Aussie English you'll hear in offices, warehouses, on construction sites, in shops, call centres, and even government workplaces. You see, Aussies don't typically speak very formally at work, not even with their boss. The workplace culture here is all about being casual, indirect, and efficient. Slang is a huge part of that. So, let's break it all down together. In today's episode, I'll explain each phrase. We'll listen to some mini role plays so you can hear it in a natural context, and I'll leave plenty of pauses so you can repeat and practice out loud. Ready? Let's get into it. Section 1. Food, breaks, and everyday office talk. First up, let's talk about food. Australians absolutely love shortening words, especially when it comes to snacks. You'll hear these ones all the time. Chocky, which means chocolate. Bickies, which means biscuits. And of course, you can combine them to get chocky bickies or chocolate biscuits. This is very common in shared office kitchens. For example, a colleague might say, "There's some chocky in the kitchen if anyone wants some." Here's how that might sound in a real conversation. Say no more. I'll grab us some chocky bickies from the kitchen. All right, your turn. Repeat after me. Chocky. Bickies. Chocky bickies. Nice one. And a quick cultural note, offering food or snacks at work is a very common way Aussies show friendliness. It's not about formality, it's about building a good, relaxed relationship with your colleagues. Next up is cuppa. A cuppa means a cup of tea, but it can also be used for a cup of coffee. It's a general term for a hot drink. For instance, do you want to grab a cuppa before the meeting? Tell me about it. Want to grab a quick cuppa before we dive into the next thing? Let's practice. Repeat after me. Cuppa. Let's grab a cuppa. And this is important. Going for a cuppa often means taking a short break to chat and relax. Not just the act of drinking tea or coffee, it's about the social break itself. Our last one in this section is smoko. Now, smoko originally meant a cigarette break, but these days it's used much more broadly to mean any short break from work. For example, I'm heading out for a smoko, back in 5. You'll hear this a lot on work sites, but in offices too. It just means I'm stepping away for a few minutes. Let's practice. Repeat, smoko. Great job. Now you know how to talk about snacks and breaks like a true Aussie. Section 2. Being busy, stressed, or under pressure. Okay, let's learn how to describe a busy day. First up, chock-a-block. This means completely full. It can be used for physical spaces like a full train or for your schedule. For example, my calendar's chock-a-block today. Sorry, mate, I can't right now. My calendar's chock-a-block with back-to-back meetings. Your turn. Repeat, chock-a-block. Next, a very common one, slammed. This means you are extremely busy. For example, I'm totally slammed with reports this week. It gives a real sense of being overwhelmed with work. Don't ask. I'm absolutely slammed with these new project proposals. Haven't had a moment to breathe. Let's practice. Repeat, slammed. And our third phrase is under the pump. This means you are under a lot of pressure to finish something, usually with a tight deadline. For example, sorry, I can't help right now. I'm under the pump. Here's a cultural tip. Australians often use these phrases to soften a refusal. Instead of a direct no, explaining that you're slammed or under the pump is a more polite way to say you're unavailable to help. Time to practice. Repeat, under the pump. All right, let's do a quick practice round. I'll say a few sentences. Try to say them out loud after me. Ready? I'm slammed today. I'm under the pump. My inbox is chock-a-block. Section 3. Sick leave and health talk. If you're not feeling well, the word you'll want to use is crook. Crook means sick or unwell. You might say to a colleague, I'm feeling a bit crook. I might head home early. Your turn. Repeat crook. Now for a very Aussie concept, chuck a sickie. This is a cheeky phrase that means calling in sick when you're not actually sick. For example, you might hear colleagues whispering, he chucked a sickie after the footy last night. A quick cultural warning here. This phrase is very common and often used in a joking way, but be careful. Don't joke about chucking a sickie with managers you don't know well. It might not go down too well. Let's practice the phrase. Repeat, chuck a sickie. And finally, some more shortened words. Doc for doctor and medicine for medication. For example, I'm going to the doc this arvo, or I'm on meds but feeling fine. Repeat after me, doc. Meds. Section 4, time, deadlines and delays. If you need someone to wait a moment, you can say, hang on a tick. A tick is just a fun way of saying a second. For example, hang on a tick, I'll just check that for you. Practice time, repeat, hang on a tick. Similarly, a jiffy means a very short time. You might say, yep, I'll be there in a jiffy. Here's how you might hear them together. Hang on a tick. Yep, got them right here. I'll send the email over in a jiffy. Your turn, repeat, in a jiffy. Now for some acronyms you'll see in emails. COB, EOD, EOB, COP and EOP. They all mean the same thing, the end of the workday, close of business, end of day, end of business, close of play, end of play. Don't worry about the different versions. Just know they mean by about 5 p.m. For example, can you send that through by EOD? Let's practice the two most common. Repeat, by EOD. By COB. Finally, if you need to postpone something, you can ask to take a rain check. This means reschedule for a later time. For example, I'm flat out today. Can we rain check our meeting? Repeat after me. Rain check. Section 5, politeness, teamwork and tone. This section is all about the little words that make a big difference. Let's start with the simplest. Ta. It means thank you. It's very informal and friendly. Ta for covering my shift. Repeat, ta. Next, how to respond when someone apologizes. No worries, or it's even more slangy cousin, no whackers. They both mean it's fine, all good, or don't stress about it. For example, sorry I'm late. No worries. Repeat after me, no worries. No whackers. If you need a little more physical space, you can ask someone to scoot over. It's a friendly way to say move a little. Could you scoot over so I can plug in my charger? Repeat, scoot over. Want someone to look at something for you? Ask them to take a squiz. A squiz is a quick look. Can you take a squiz at this email before I send it? Repeat, take a squiz. And finally, a fun one, sticky beak. A sticky beak is a nosy person, someone who is always trying to find out about other people's business. He's always asking questions. Bit of a sticky beak. Repeat, sticky beak. Section 6, certainty and outcomes. Let's wrap up with a few phrases about results and decisions. First, no-brainer. This describes a decision that is very obvious or easy to make. It's a no-brainer. We'll go with option A. Repeat, no-brainer. If you want to say you are absolutely serious about something, you can say you are dead set. It's a strong word for certainty. I'm dead set on finishing this today. Repeat, dead set. Section 7, people and personalities at work. All right, let's move on to our final practice session. This is where you get to put it all together. I want you to pause the podcast now and do 3 things. 1, choose 5 phrases from today's episode. 2, say a full sentence for each of those 5 phrases. And 3, really imagine yourself using them at work tomorrow. Take your time and say them out loud. Go on, give it a go. How did you go? Good stuff. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Remember, using Australian workplace English isn't about sounding perfect or using every single slang word you know. It's about sounding relaxed, friendly, and natural. It's how you build connections with your colleagues and really become part of the team. If this episode helped you understand Aussie work culture a bit better, do me a favour and like the episode and subscribe to the channel. It really helps more learners from all over the world find Aussie English class. Ta for listening and catch you next time.